Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. First of all, I want to say a welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you so much. It's great to see you here. And for those of you that are getting to know me, just so you know that I am a Neo-Vedic astrologer. What does that mean? So I take the principles of ancient Vedic astrology, which is a shall we say, an esoteric science that's been around for at least 5,000 years. But I also count the outer planets, which are not recognized in Vedic astrology. The outer planets are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And I also count the asteroids Chiron and the planetoid Ceres. So that gives you a little overview. Now, this is quite a special show today. And this is going to be focusing on, it's going to be focusing on the the partial solar eclipse coming up on April 30th. So, today's the 27th. So it is the 27th of April, 2022. And the time now in the UK while I'm doing this is 13:58. So it's almost 2 p.m. And as you guys will know, I don't usually do all the planetary updates and stuff because there's lots of people doing that who are brilliant, astrologers. But I like to do them from time to time, and the reason why this is quite important is because this is the first of the new set of eclipses, because eclipses go in seasons. So the last eclipse season for Vedic astrology, remember I do the Vedic placements because the Western placements are almost 24 degrees ahead of the sidereal or astronomical positions, or the NASA positions, so we say. So we've just come out of the eclipses of Scorpio and Taurus. So what were we dealing with? We were dealing things of what Taurus is all about: security, values, resources, nourishment, etc. And Scorpio is about what? Depth, intrigues, machinations, transformation. And of course, we've seen the world has been going through a tremendous amount of transformation, hasn't it, right now? And there's been a lot of dark stuff that's been coming up. Now, the nodes move backwards. They're always retrograde. So from the Vedic positions, Rahu and Ketu, Rahu being the north node of the moon, who I call Gobble Gobble, which is where we can have our blind spots, where we're having desire for change and manifestation, is in Sidereal Aries. So Taurus, Aries, the nodes move backwards. So this is where the new eclipses are happening. And then the south node, who I call Snip Snip, which is all things to do with liberation, moksha from this world, but also sometimes the loss of something. That axis is happening in Libra. So we are in an Aries, Libra axis for the next 18 months. That's how long the nodes of the moon spend in each sign. So that's why I thought, okay, it's a significant time to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what these eclipses could potentially mean in terms of the symbolism of where they're happening in Aries. I will then also talk as well about well-known figures in the world. So Marjory Taylor Greene, the GOP, Mitch McConnell, Tucker Carlson, Putin, Zelensky, China, America, even Joe Biden, which I will just touch on briefly because some of you are extremely sensitive about anything I say about him. But anyway, I move on. So there's that, and then what I'm going to do is I will then read out what these eclipses could then mean for everyone. So I'm going to go through all the signs through Aries all the way through to Pisces, and I'll give a brief description of what is happening for everyone. So this is a big catch-all. I don't often do these. But when I do, I like to try and cover as much ground as possible, because these are important eclipses and they represent the bona fide shift in energy and global consciousness. Okay, let me have a quick slurp here. Let me read off to make sure I've not missed anything here. So again, yes, thank you for all the new subscribers. It's wonderful. And of course, if you'd like to know more about Vedic astrology and stuff like that, I do have courses on my membership. So all of that will be in the description below. And of course, if you like this as well, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, you know, if you're enjoying this content. And I thank you all so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. So this will be recorded, and it's probably gonna go up 7 p.m. EST this evening, so you'll see it there, and then it will launch. Oh, and of course, if anyone would like a consultation with me, then feel free to visit my website, which is the archetypalblueprint.com. Link in description. May is sold out. May is completely sold out, but I've got dates in June. June is starting to sell, but if you'd like a consultation with me, then the June window is open. So again, thank you to everyone that booked and everything like that. I really look forward to getting back into charts again once I get back from holiday. Hadaiga this week will, which is Saturday the 30th. Of course, as you know, I do it every Saturday. We should have Milu joining us for the show for this Hadaiga, and I should be hosting that from Portugal, all being well. I've got all my clearances and all of that kind of stuff. We won't talk about Spain. You know, because I might swear on camera, and I don't want to do that. But let's just say moving of goalposts and all that kind of stuff. As we know, Diane is going to be at the Bridgerton ball, so she won't be joining us, but Milu will be there, hopefully, all being well. And like I just said, should be hosting from Portugal. So for me at that time, it's going to be 1 a.m. So it's probably going to be from my hotel room. But if I can do it outside in a courtyard where you get a little bit of ambiance, then of course I will try my best to do that. Okay, so let's focus on where these eclipses are happening, the nakshatra, and what that can potentially mean. So this is the nodes of the moon. They set fate and destiny for everyone and everything in the world, pretty much anything that has a birthday. So when they change signs, it's very significant. So now we are in this, like I said, the Aries Libra axis. What's that all about? Aries is about initiation, trying new things. It is about individuality. It's about the personality. The nodes of the moon are always exactly opposite. So Ketu is going to be in Libra, which is all about business, relationships, negotiations of all kinds. So, but let's go into the actual specific nakshatra. And this particularly as well for new subscribers, this may be a new concept for you. So each sign in Vedic astrology is made up of around about 2¼ constituent parts, but let's just say 3 parts. It's not exactly 3 parts, but they overlap. So, for example, Aries, the sign of Aries is made up of the nakshatras Ashwini, which is the very beginning of the zodiac, which is symbolized by the Kumar twins. Each one has a deity, a symbol, etc. So Ashwini is the Kumar twins, the physicians of the gods, and the symbolism there is horses. So it's all about speed, initiation, youthfulness, trying new things, beauty, healing. There's a very healing quality to Aries as well. And that nakshatra is sub-ruled by Ketu, the south node of the moon. Then we come to Bharani. And actually, I should have described. So with Ashwini, it will go from 0 degrees of Aries to 13 degrees, 20 minutes. You know, sometimes I forget what the exact degrees are. The next, what we get is Bharani. Yeah, Burani Nakshatra. Now that comes straight after Ashwini, and this is really significant because this is where the eclipse is actually happening. It's actually happening at, I think it's at 16 degrees of Bharani. Bharani is completely contained within Aries, and the ruling planet here is Venus. And then just the nakshatra going after that is Kritika. And Kritika means the slicing, the cutting one, and that is ruled by the sun, but that goes over into Taurus. So we'll focus on Bharani, 16 degrees of Sidereal Aries, Bharani. What's Bharani all about? The symbol for Bharani is the yoni, and that in Vedic astrology refers to the female reproductive system, but most specifically talking about the womb in particular. So what Bharani is symbolized, it's quite a fierce and severe nakshatra. It deals a lot with pressure, contraction, feeling constrained and contained. It has a lot to do with punishment, with struggles and difficulties. So you're probably thinking, oh God, that doesn't sound great. But let's look what's been going on in the world. Yeah, we see how it correlates. However, Bharani also deals with breakthroughs, because of course the baby is contained within the womb and then the birthing process happens. So the long and short of it in a way is that we can say that these new eclipses are the initiation of labor pains in a way, birthing something new. I would even go as far to say, now this might seem extreme, but I think this will make a lot of sense. And I've been saying this privately to friends, because Bharani does deal with the female reproductive system. In a way, I was just meditating on this the other day, and it's almost as if the world is in a kind of emotional, spiritual and psychological menstruation in a way, if you know what I mean. I know that might sound extreme and I don't want to put anyone off, but Bharani does deal with the female reproductive system specifically. That's what it's about. And if you think once we go through that process, what is really that about? It's about getting rid of the old lining, the old things. So what? Something new can be born. That's what we understand, with the female reproductive system of those who are obviously in that age bracket. Of course, there's menopause and all the various different incredible transformations that the female body goes through specifically. But if we think this is about getting rid of the old lining and it being refreshed. So let's not forget, Aries is about initiation, innovation, new things coming. But what is the eclipse? The eclipse is when the sun and the moon basically come together with the nodes. So Rahu and Ketu are mathematical points in the sky, and they cause the shadows. Yeah, they cause the eclipses. So a solar eclipse, of course, is when the sun is eclipsed by the shadow of the moon coming together, yeah, with Rahu or Ketu. In this case, it's Rahu. What is Rahu? Rahu I call gobble gobble. Rahu, the nodes of the moon have the ability to upset things, disturb things. They're known as the rebels. When the sun and the moon is eclipsed, they say what was hidden by the brightness of the light. Because if you look at the sun's so bright you can't look at it. But when it's eclipsed, then you see what the aura in a way of the sun. The whole flame. What's the word? What's the word that I'm looking for here? My physics is escaping me. But that energy that comes out of the sun in terms of like the solar flares and all of that stuff, that is when that can actually be observed. So this is about things coming out of the dark. Eclipses always reveal something that was previously hidden. When it comes to the sun, it tends to do with things on the world stage, and it tends to be about leaders in particular. But this one is explicitly about leaders and leadership of all kinds. Why? Because the sun is exalted in Aries. So if we remember with the lunar eclipse, one of the lunar eclipses that happened back in November, of 2021, I said this is going to have consequences for female leadership and the Queen, etc., and all that kind of stuff. Look back in my previous videos where I described all of that, and I said there will also be issues to do with food and inflation. Yeah. Look what's happened since then. This is what I was talking about in November 2021. So that was the feminine archetype. The moon is the feminine archetype, divine feminine. The sun is divine masculine. So what this deals with is that these eclipses, these shadows, these revelations will be happening for leaders of all kinds around the world. Most likely men in particular, because the sun is the masculine planet, but not always necessarily just men. It can also deal with women. Anyone who is a leader of some kind will be under scrutiny or going through this process of shedding a lining in order that something new can be birthed and come forward. So what is, the way I'm interpreting this is that this is kind of changes in some ways to patriarchy. Yeah. Now let me elaborate on that. The deity associated with Bharani is a god called Yama. So what have I read here in my notes? Let me just make sure that I've covered everything. So Aries, innovation, breaking through new ground, affecting leaders of all kinds. So a requirement for global leaders to break new ground in some way. But also as well, here, Bharani deals with consequences. Yama is also known as the god of death, yeah, but it deals with consequences. So what it is almost as if the karma of previous leaders' innovations or leaping into things is sort of coming now, yeah? Because it is about something that's being initiated. Aries is to initiate something. But Bharani also deals with consequences. So if we think here, Ashwini can, in some ways, can represent the sexual act. And the consequence of that can be what? Pregnancy, Bharani, the womb, the next nakshatra along. So here there is going to be potential consequences for leaders who have initiated ideas and concepts, and now that birthing process has come. I can't believe it. My door's just gone. 1 minute. I'm back. Just someone buzzing the door. Anyway, so where was I? So here, so what this is talking about is leaders of all kinds, in a way, having to take some kind of karmic responsibility for the ideas and actions that they initiated at some point of time and are now being either birthed, or it's almost the lining of that is being shed. Yeah, it's a birthing, and I'm adding in just with that intuitive part, it's also a shedding as well, getting rid of something old. So what I've put here is, however, Yama, the god of death, is the deity here. It can also indicate more death in the world, as we've seen in Ukraine. Look what's been going on, yeah? But it's not only just that as well. Like the nodes changed, when did they change? Let's just say, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. But before that, the eclipses were also happening in Scorpio. Scorpio is also the sign of what? Unfortunately, like sex, death, rock and roll. Yeah, there is also been that energy. So we see that kind of axis is being activated again, but on the Aries kind of side. It also indicates that old things must die in regards to leaders, as the sun is also exalted, which as I was saying before, and it shows the emphasis on global leaders. So again, and I've written here, change to old ways of patriarchy. That's what this placement could indicate. As we know, Macron has just won he just won in his election in France. You know, thank goodness, phew, you know, because that could have been very tricky if it was the other way around. However, what we also need to understand is that Le Pen, she got 41% of the vote. Yeah, that's not an insignificant number. I would hazard to say if it weren't that she was so aligned with one of the most horrible characters on the world stage right now, which we know is a certain Putin, yeah, she may have been able to squeeze that one. Yeah, yeah. It's just that she, and obviously, the whole Russia connections and all that kind of stuff. But what has also emerged, I think, a very important question to ask in regards to global leadership is who has not been influenced or taken Russian money? How about that? And I think there's going to be consequences for that. We see that, don't we? There's consequences for these previous decisions that have been made. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's like, ooh. There's stuff like that. And also as well, there's an article in The Independent where France and Germany were actually selling weapons to Russia before this whole conflict and all this stuff kind of blew up, which also involved Macron. So, I don't want to go too much into that. I'll link that probably to an article which was in the Independent newspaper, so you can check that out for yourself. So there's all sorts of things kind of coming out. So what else have I got here? Yama, God of consequences. There will be, all sorts for consequences of previous actions, etc. And also as well, people that may be involved in the planning of January 6th. Yeah. So remember, an idea, a concept that was planted before is now reaching its point of either this birthing point or being shed in some way and cleared away. So we also understand too, apparently the commission, the Jan 6 commission is going to be doing their televised thing soon. I don't know what they're waiting for. This is Aries. Get on with it. Yeah, get on with it. With these situations must be dealt with. Yama. Consequences. Yes, people must be brought to justice. That window is starting to close. Yeah, I'm sure we can all feel this. It's no secret now. We know who the main culprits are. Come on, act. Aries is about action, but it's also about conflict and war. And we see, this evolving conflict now as well, of course, in Ukraine, etc., and all that kind of stuff. Another thing to add as well, before I talk about some of the main characters and then go into what it means for everyone personally, the UK has the Home Secretary, I think she's about to announce, to say that we need to send planes, etc., to the Ukraine. Of course, in my opinion, this should have been done ages ago. And if Poland had been listened to, and if it wasn't kiboshed, this conflict would have been over. I'm pretty confident this conflict would have been over already, because they would have been able to bomb those convoys and stuff like that. However, this is global politics. So what this is, Aries is also about war, conflict, speed, explosions. This eclipse is also happening with Uranus and Rahu. Rahu, like I said, expands things out, can explode things up. Yeah, so there could be maybe some kind of escalation. Uranus is shocks and surprises, but this can also deal with innovations, liberations. It also has a lot to do with earthquakes as well. So we're in a kind of a tumultuous energy, and a lot of this will be coming to a peak in the summer, particularly around July. So we're going to be seeing consequences in regards to ideas and concepts sown, initiated. We could see the birthing of new things, innovation, but we could also see the shedding of the lining of ideas that maybe need to be removed because they're no longer they no longer hold that fertility, that fecundity. If we look, for example, look what's happening in China. It's astonishing. These draconian lockdowns, people literally starving, shouting from their windows. Now, I do have a little bit of a rebel streak in me. And my little saying is this, is if you comply, then you get Shanghai. Yeah. Now, look, That might be a controversial thing to say, and it is simplistic, and I'm not saying just throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we really do need to question now ideas that were initiated a little while ago, and what is the baby that's been produced out of that? What are the consequences of these ideas that were initiated at breakneck speed once upon a time? Yeah. So I'm trying to describe all those energies. It will be the birthing of new things, but some old things have to go. Yama is the god of death and karma. He's the one that weighs the soul against the feather. Yeah. So there is this feeling almost in the world. I'm sure you would agree. There's this sense of that the times right now are very pertinent, very consequential. Okay, so let's go into some of these characters. So for Marjory Taylor Greene, yeah, M.T.G. I've got a very rude nickname for her, but you know, I'm not going to say it here because some people get offended, but I think it's a fitting name. Anyway, for her, Rahu and the eclipse is happening in her 10th house. What's the 10th house? The 10th house deals with public duties. It deals with reputation. She's currently in a court case right now, isn't it? Where people are what? Examining the things that she said and the ideas that she defended. Do you see the correlation? She initiated some ideas. Remember, she said, oh, you know, Pelosi's a traitor and martial law. Do you remember that? Martial law. What does Mars represent? War, conflict, Aries. Yeah, he covers. Mars is the ruler of Aries and Scorpio. We've been looking a lot at what? Conflict. The last eclipses were also in that Scorpio portion. Now we're in the Aries portion. So you see, Mars is having a big influence over these eclipses. So look, we'll have to see what happens with her in regards to her reputation. There could be something surprising or shocking there. Will it be the case that this will rebirth her reputation? Or will this be almost a shedding of the lining of her reputation, where people may say, this person needs to be expunged? We shall see. Next one, Duck Larange, also known as Donald Trump. Where is this happening for him? This eclipse, this solar eclipse in Rahu and Uranus, is happening in his 9th house. What's the 9th house? The 9th house deals with ideas, philosophy, beliefs, politics. And the note I've put here, so there could be a change, some kind of change in his beliefs. You know, could it be time to drop the whole stop the steal, la, 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 that we've been seeing, this mantra of his that he's gone on for ages and ages, which has formed so much of his ideas around politics? Will that step up and be birthed into something new? Because Ketu will be in the 3rd house of communication. But remember, Ketu is like a little whirlpool. And so far, his media attempts have been what? So far. So we'll have to see. But could this be, could he have a rebirth in regards to his social media? Because a certain someone who's very connected with Mars, by the way, certain Elon Musk, has what? Just bought Twitter. So we'll have to see. Could this be where Yama will remove the lining, so to speak, of Trump's ideas and concepts? Or will this be a rebirth for him in terms of his social media and ideological representation and presence? We have to see. Both could happen. Yeah, it could be, you know, it could be one or the other. We have to see, but I'm just reading you the energies. Remember, don't shoot the messenger. And of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. Next one, GOP. The GOP, I've done their chart. They've got Rahu in the 11th house, and it's going to be with Pluto and Uranus. So they're literally having a Uranus return. Oh my goodness. Pluto is what? Intrigues, scandals, dark night of the soul, manipulation, dark money. It's also transformation as well on the higher side. What's the 11th house? The 11th house deals with great gains, funding, lump sums, large amounts of cash. So, and it also deals with friends and associates. So here, the eclipse is falling in that portion of the sky for the GOP. Will this affect their finances in some way? How will their fundraising go going forward? Will they gain support or will they lose support? Will it be the birth of something new, or will the lining of their funding be shed in some way? I would suspect it will be very closely connected with what is going on with Marjory Taylor Greene, and the outcome of her case is likely to impact that of what? The GOP. Why? Because she's one of the major fundraisers. As cray-cray and as batshit as she is, you know, she is very popular with a certain section. So you can see here there's an intertwining here of these fates. Mitch McConnell. This Rahu and solar eclipse is happening in his 12th house. What's the 12th house? 12th house deals with losses. But it also deals with foreign land. So I put here losses in regards in terms of karma and energy and the mind. Why? Because this eclipse will be going across his moon, which is the mind and the emotions, Mars, which is passion, conflict, energy, and Saturn, which is karma. So this could be very karmic the next 18 months for Mitch McConnell. We'll have to see. What will Yama, the deity, bring here? Will it be an ending of some kind? Or is he going to have to reevaluate and change? Because here, this also, like I said, it deals with losses and it deals with foreign lands. So something in regards to foreign lands, maybe foreign connections that he has could be evaluated and raked over the coals. Or maybe he goes to escape. Maybe he gets some moksha. I'm not saying that the guy's going to die, but, you know, it's the energy of loss, leaving this world. And especially as Ketu will be in his 6th house, and the 6th house deals with health. Yeah, so there's that. Ron DeSantis. This eclipse is happening in his 7th house, which deals with the outside world. It deals with anyone that's not us. It deals with our opponents. In Vedic astrology, open enemies. It deals with our public reputation. 7th house and 10th house also deal with one's reputation. It deals with relationships of all kind and business. Now, isn't it interesting? What has he done recently? He's picked this fight with Disney, which is affecting his reputation, his public image. There might be some people that might be like, having second thoughts about DeSantis. But not just that as well. Let's not forget, a certain Duck Larange is keeping a very, very close eye on DeSantis. And what I see in terms of, I think I may have said it on a video or I may have said it privately with friends, is that his biggest obstacle, as it were, is maybe not necessarily the Democrats. We'll have to see what they do, but it's probably Duck Larange. Yeah, let's not forget, Duck Larange, irrespective of what he's doing with his life, he likes to be the star. Yeah, let's not forget that Roger Stone was digging the boot in recently in that slightly staged thing for camera. Let's not forget, Doug Larange is a reality TV star. He knows how to set things up. Again, I'm not sending him his praises or whatever, but that was not an accident. So there's that. So here, Ron DeSantis, the eclipse is falling in the sign of open enemies, and it means Ketu is in his 1st house. Snip, snip. So he has to be very careful with the battles he undertakes, because if he's not careful, it will affect his what? Popularity, his personal popularity, the body. Yeah. Rudy Giuliani. He's got Rahu in the 8th house. Oh my God. The 8th house is what? Sex, death, rock and roll. But it also deals with what? Scandals, intrigue, espionage, addictions, disgrace. Yeah, we know that, he struggles to contain himself when it comes to, liquids, certain liquids. But look at some of the clownish things that he's been having to do, because if he's got Rahu in the 8th, it means he's got Ketu in the 2nd. Ketu is snip, snip. What's the 2nd house? Values. It also deals with money. He's got money issues. He's literally turning up on these shows, clowning around just to have some, 2 cents to rub together. You know, it's just extraordinary. I can't even watch, the change in his fortunes. Very, very interesting for that. But money issues for him, voila, we see how that plays out. But he's also going to be trying to transform in some way. He's going to be really trying to make big changes. Liz Cheney, she's got Rahu in the first. She's having a nodal return. So she's an Aries ascendant, according to Vedic astrology. When the nodes come back, and it takes them 18 and a half years to come back, what it means is, it makes a vow and a reaffirmation of your life purpose. Yeah, reaffirmation of one's life purpose. Aries is about what? Initiating something. Like I said, here it's happening in Yama, which is consequences. She is what? One of the stars of the Jan 6th Commission, who's going to be leading this whole thing when she's going to be doing her what? Her whole shakedown, along with the rest of the committee, giving consequences for what? January 6th. Do you see how it all intertwines together? So this is a very, very pivotal and karmic time for Liz Cheney right now. She is having a reaffirmation of her life purpose, and she's going to want to innovate and bring the energy of Yama into her life, which means consequences and karmas. Yeah, she's going to be trying to bring what? Consequences and punishment. The Yama Bharani has a lot to do with punishment. If you think labor pains, it's difficult giving birth. Not for all women, but it's a tricky time. When you're giving birth, you can also, sometimes the mother loses her life, sometimes the child as well. You see, it deals with that borderline, that borderline between the two. But for Liz Cheney, this is almost like a reaffirmation where she is infused and wants to go forward in a very powerful and energetic way, which we can see. And of course, the fates line up very neatly with that. Okay, Putin. Pardon me. This is happening in his 7th house, which again is what? Open enemies. What's going on with him right now? He's having what? Conflict. He's been what? Warlike. He's made war against Ukraine. War against Ukraine. Because he's a Libra ascendant, it means the 7th house is ruled by Aries. Yeah, it's always opposite. He has literally gone to war. However, it also puts Ketu in the 1st house. Yeah, snip, snip, snip. Could this be that this war that he's initiated, well, not even could, it's affected what? His popularity. And I don't mean that in a superficial sense, in the sense of people now look at Putin very, very differently. There was caution before and murmurings of this and that and being prepared to ignore certain things. Now they can't, yeah? He's the least popular person in the world right now, and deservedly so. So his war, 7th house, open enemies, has affected directly his popularity, and he's trying to maintain his reputation at home. He's trying to affect 7th house, his public reputation, via war, hoping that it would improve his chances, but he's now the enemy of the free world. Yeah, there's that. Tucker Carlson, there we are. Rahu in the 10th with Saturn. So again, his reputation has changed. People are really starting to ask questions like, you really support this whole Russia thing, this warmonger? Yeah? So we'll see. And he's also entered his Saturn Mahadasha as well. So this is a time for him of having to grow up. He has to grow up. Yeah, Saturn is the planet of maturity. He's just entered his Saturn Mahadasha. He needs to think now about the consequences of what he's been saying. For Joe Biden, this is happening in this, and here we'll go to Joe Biden just briefly. This is happening in his 6th house. And the 6th house deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. Yeah, it can also deal with enemies as well. So Biden just needs to, just be careful, with his health and all that stuff. And, we wish him the best on that. Moving on. Zelensky, this is happening for him in his 12th house. What's the 12th house? 12th house deals with losses. But it's also with Chiron, the wounded healer. So he's dealing a lot with what? Losses. The Ukrainian people are dying. They're being murdered by Putin, who's taken what? War on them. However, the 12th house deals with foreign lands, internationalism. Something we lose in the 12th house, we can gain in another way. So he's got these losses, but he's getting help from where? Foreign lands. They've been putting what? Money in there. I always say that the 12th house is like the house of royalties. It's indirect money. It's money that comes from different sources. So the world is pouring their funds and resources into Ukraine. And now the UK is talking about planes. Chiron is the wounded healer, but it also shows healing. So after this, when this is over, and hopefully it will be over at some point, this is also a chance for Zelensky to heal his nation and recover and rebound. And let's do two countries. China, this is happening Rahu in the 4th house. So I put here issues with the homeland, Shanghai, Beijing, but also heartless or extreme in some kind of way. Rahu is extremities. And what's been happening? People have been what? Locked in their homes again, locked down again. Shanghai, 5 weeks, people calling from the windows, I'm starving. Yeah? Not saying it's necessarily all that way for absolutely everyone, but that's 25 million people that are locked up right now. And now they're doing the testing in Beijing. So the people in Beijing are worried, you know. And they're kind of stockpiling food and stuff like that. They said it's calmed down a bit now, but for a few days it was like, you know, no one wants to be locked up in their house, sealed in with padlocks and glued in to your house. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, come on. But anyway, but we can see there is that extremity in the homeland. Rahu can represent extremes of fate and destiny. Yeah, sometimes it can be wonderful. Sometimes it can be difficult. America. Rahu's in the 5th. The 5th house deals with consultations and advice to others, but it also deals with politics. Issues with politics and ideas. Explosive, radical, and unusual, wonky, cray-cray ideas. Let's not forget, transiting Uranus is here. Uranus deals with the eccentric, the unusual, the maverick, you know, the weirdo. Also, it deals with the genius as well. But here, this is very challenging in that respect. So there you are. There's that bit there. Now let's go through the different signs. So when I read out the sign, it's for anyone that is their ascendant or moon. Yeah, their ascendant or moon sign. And there's 3 astrological calculators. I don't have a calculator yet. I need to get one up there. But remember, this is from the Vedic placements, not tropical. Okay, so Aries. Just like Liz Cheney, this eclipse is happening in the 1st house. So that can deal with changes to personal image and the body. Yeah, the ascendant deals with the body, the image, our physicality. The eclipse is falling here. So this could be people changing their image in some kind of way or seeing themselves differently, wanting to initiate some new ideas, and maybe they have to let go of something old that is no longer working for them in order to birth something new. Let's not forget, Bharani represents the yoni, so it can be birthing or the getting rid of the lining in order to initiate something new. So that's for Aries, ascendant, moon. Okay, Taurus. All right, Taurus. For them, this is happening in the 12th house. So this deals with expenses, travel, spirituality, and retirement. So some of you who are watching who have a Taurus ascendant or moon in Vedic astrology, they could be coming to retirement. The losses can mean, it could just mean expenses. So you might be going on holiday, traveling, wanting to go to spiritual retreats or do your meditation, buy your crystals, etc. That kind of thing. Like I said, could be dealing with retirement, but it can sometimes mean loss of something or someone, or you're having an empty nest moment. Your kids have left the home, or someone's moved out or something like that. But this is a good time for spirituality and reflection. Gemini, this is happening in your 11th house. So it deals with eldest siblings, friends, gains, and social media. So this could be something unusual. It could mean new friends come into your life, but they could be unusual. Rahu in some kind of way. Plus Uranus is there as well, which deals with esoteric subjects and astrology. So there could be these elements here of meeting unconventional or new people, or having some kind of unexpected gain or windfall. There could be, or you may be starting up a side hustle business or something like that, particularly things connected with social media. Okay, Cancerians, this is happening in the 10th house. So this can deal with dynamics in career, reputation, and dharma. And in terms of one's highest purpose. So for the Cancerians, they could be having dynamic new things happening with their career, or their career takes an unexpected uplift in some kind of way, or it just becomes a bit more dynamic. This could be the time when you take on a new role, or you are sort of a boss or something may ask you to do some innovative or new project, or you kind of break free and you want to change your career in some kind of way. Leo, this is happening in the 9th house. So this can do with spirituality, the father, gurus, travels, and languages. So again, there could be something dynamic and interesting happening with one's father, but also as well one's teachers. One could be learning astrology, or maybe if you're a new subscriber, watching someone like myself who's an astrologer, or maybe other YouTubers that are astrologers, that kind of things. It can deal with that, but this is also to do with languages and stuff. So if you're thinking of learning a new language, this is a good time, and also a great time to travel. Virgo, so this is Virgo ascendant or moon in Vedic astrology. 8th house, so this deals with transformations, the occult, inheritance, taxes, and stocks. So here also as well, the 8th house is sex, death, and rock and roll. So this can deal with psychology, transformation. Maybe you're getting some counseling, or maybe you're doing a lot of inner work, meditation, yoga, kundalini, looking to change the inner world and dynamics in some way. You could also inherit, but you may also do well in terms of stocks and shares. But this is a transformational time for you, and this is an eclipse. So there may be things, there could be things, maybe even some secrets that come out of the dark. Okay, Libra. So Libra, along with Aries, is another one of the signs that it will be most affected by these eclipses because they're happening in this axis. The lunar eclipse, which comes 2 weeks after the main solar eclipse, which is a partial one this time, full lunar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, but that lunar eclipse is happening in Libra. Yeah, it's happening in Libra, in Swati and Vishaka nakshatras, going in between sort of those two. So this deals with relationships, business, contracts, and reputation, and potentially even litigation. So we've seen with Putinshka, this is the eclipse is happening in his 7th house. Mundane astrology, open enemies. For ordinary people, this can deal with relationships, business, partners, marriage. Maybe you do get married or actually meet someone, or maybe a relationship, significant relationship, comes to an end or is eclipsed in some kind of way. But it can also make way for something new, because when we think of that energy of Bharani, birthing something new or something old being removed. So this is a dynamic time. It also means as well that Ketu will be in the 1st house. So again, that can be that energy of snip, snip. Libra people are going to be reflecting, introspecting a lot right now. Okay, Scorpio. This will be happening in your 6th house. So Scorpio, ascendant or moon. So that deals with health, enemies, digestion, service, routines, and diet. Yeah. So we know Joe Biden, is a double Scorpio. But for Scorpios in general, this is time to review your health, your routines, your diet, making sure that you're eating the right things, because the 6th house does represent the stomach. This can also be a time to change your diet in some way. You might be reflecting on changing your diet, trying new things, getting fit, healthier, going to the gym. So it's a great time for that. It's also a great time for service as well. So this could be charity work, volunteering at a soup kitchen, those kind of things. And also as well, having to deal with enemies in some kind of way. Enemies could be an issue because this is an eclipse here, something being revealed out of the dark. It can also deal with legal and litigation. Now, does that mean it's going to be litigation for every Scorpio? No. but there could be some kind of secret that comes out that could lead to litigation of some kind, or where you have to defeat an enemy. Yeah, so that's a Scorpio. Sagittarius, moon or ascendant. This is happening in your 5th house. So this deals with advising others, children, speculation, or romance. So this could be a new romantic love interest coming into your life for those of you that are single. Eclipses and the nodes of the moon can bring in relationships, by the way. It's not all bad, you know, it's not all bad. So something could be coming out of the dark in regards to that. Also as well, the 5th house is creative. It deals with the arts. It deals with sport. It deals with advising others, you know, advising others in some kind of way. It deals with speculation. So this could be, you could have some interesting things happen with investments. I would say maybe let the eclipses pass, you know, give a few weeks, a couple of weeks after the eclipses have passed, and maybe invest, because eclipse energy, it can be, it's like switching the computer off and on again. It's a bit like a reset. Yeah, so there could be a reset in regards to that, but a great time to reset your health. Yeah, in that kind of way. No, reset your because I'm talking about Sagittarius. Reset your creativity. Maybe start something new. Maybe do that painting class you've always wanted to do. Capricorn moon or ascendant. This is happening in the 4th house. So this can deal with real estate, moving, education, the mother, and the heart. So this is happening in the heart chakra. So, you know, look after the heart. Think about, you could have emotions welling up. One could learn secrets as well about one's mother. Make sure that your mother's health is good and that she's well looked after, because the eclipse will be happening here. But also as well, it could mean moving home. Or you may be purchasing a piece of real estate, or you start working in real estate in some way, or you decide it's time to go back to school and learn new things. 4th house is also as well, deals with education, the deep subconscious mind. You could have interesting dreams right now as well, because there are connotations of rest here. But this is also to do with the home. You could be redecorating or just, you know, revamping things. Okay, Aquarius. This is happening in the 3rd house. So this deals with skills, travel, communication, media, and courage. This could be where you might be learning new skills, doing something radically different that you've not done before. Remember, the energy of Uranus is here. This too could also mean maybe brushing up on your skills in terms of esoteric subjects, something like that. Maybe mastering your social media, emails. It also deals with courage. There could be a sudden flash of insight, of courage, where you boldly go where you've never gone before, because the electricity of Uranus and the fate and destiny and the trying something new of Rahu gives you that electric shock, as it were, to kind of finally go forth and try something new. And finally, Pisces. This is happening in the 2nd house. So this deals with money, family, resources, the eyes, the voice, and food. So this could be where you're really looking at your finances. Yeah, this Piscean people could be looking at ways to kind of revamp their finances or birth some kind of new endeavor. This could literally mean someone having a physical birth and adding to the family, because the 2nd house is family. Or they might be getting rid of the lining of something. So they might be like trying to get rid of old habits, initiate new ones in regards to resources, food, and finance. People may be changing their glasses, for example, or maybe they're going for an eye operation or something like that. Or they want to see things more clearly. We have to see what comes out of the shadows. So the eclipses, something can come out of the shadows that may make some Pisceans, ascendant or moon in Vedic, see something that they've not seen before. So there could be changes to the family here. This also deals with the voice as well. This might be the time to speak up about certain things. Pisces is known as a mute sign. So with the eclipse falling there, this could be where Pisceans are just like, you know what, I've been wanting to deal with or talk about this issue for a long time. Now's the time. So you could be the one that surprises others or even your family. But this is a great time to look at your finances and stuff like that. So that was a real whistle stop tour through all those things. Let me know what you potentially how you may be affected by these eclipses. Let me know in the comments below. And as you can see, there's a lot of change going on right now in the world. We're going to be seeing things being birthed and old things being removed. People having to kind of bear the consequences of ideas or things that were initiated in the past, potentially at speed. Could deal with lots of things. You know, I'll let people join the dots of things that were initiated at great speed once upon a time, and now there may be some consequences. I'll let you join the dots on that. But also as well, that this is also reflective of just where humanity is right now. We want to break free. We want our freedom and independence. We want to try new things. People don't want to be locked up anymore. Yeah, Aries is the sign of freedom, innovation, youthful energy coming forward. Yes, it is dealing with war, as we know, and that darkness. But that Pluto energy, of course, is in Sidereal Capricorn. But people are also at the same time wanting to move on and birth something new. But they may go to extremes to get that new thing. Yeah, we've been seeing the rise of, far right ideologies, populism. Not just that, far left as well. France is a great example of that. Radical new ideas, the youth. Aries also deals with youth. Mars deals with youth. So the younger people are going to be maybe potentially rising up or expressing themselves forcefully. We could see more protests because they want to birth something new. The whole world, we all need to birth something new because we can't continue with the old ways as we see. So I leave it there. So although that is tumultuous, there is cause for optimism as well. This is the time, guys, to initiate something new in your life. Go forward and try new things, and let's see what happens. So just as a reminder, Hadaiga this Saturday, hopefully from Portugal. And of course, if you'd like a consultation with me, please feel free to visit the archetypalblueprint.com, or if you'd like to join to learn more about Vedic astrology, I've got courses in my membership, which would be the Vedic Apprentice membership. But I also do as well deep dives into people's specific charts, which is my other playlist, which deals with secrets, scandals, and infamy. And too, as well, you get all those things if you go for the top tier membership as well, which is the Chalice of Light, where I do kind of little videos extra and all that stuff, free readings for people who also have that level. So I will leave it there. I hope you found that interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So consequences and new beginnings and things in regards to war and stuff like that as well. But it's not all bad. Yeah, we must also look to the future and initiate something new. Out with the old, in with the new. All right, until the next time, folks. See you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.